Hi, it's Steph. Welcome to my channel. So glad you're here. Happy New Year. It's 2025 and we all made it another year. Yay! Okay, so moving into the new year, I'm going to be wrapping up my record purge series that I've been doing. It's where I'm going through my record collection and deciding what I don't listen to and getting rid of it. And so probably a few more videos and then I would have gone through my whole entire record collection. So the idea was to get rid of some stuff and make room and make some more space for some stuff that I actually do listen to. And kind of in the process, I have been cataloging all of the records that I do have, which I've always wanted to do. So yes, I am keeping track, and probably on my last video that I'm gonna do, I'll kind of maybe do a little bit of recap on all the stuff I kept and got rid of. Not sure how I'm gonna do that yet, but moving on. Okay, so on today's video, I have a new stack of records that I'm gonna go through, and I know I always say this, but I'm getting rid of more than I usually do on this video, and so that's a good thing, right? The first one I'm gonna show you today is from Alex Chilton, and this is called Feudalist Tarts. It's from 1985, Big Time Records, and he was from Memphis, Tennessee, and he's a pretty cool cat. He started out in the 60s in a band called the Box Tops, and they had a little bit of success during that period, and then he did some solo stuff. This is moving way forward, 1985. Like I said, Big Time Records. This one has a song on here called Ti Nai Ni Nai Nu, and that's a little bit hard to say, but it's a pretty cool song. And there's also a song on here called Baby, and those are probably my two favorite songs on here. There's also a song on here called Stuff, which is featured on the I Was a Teenage Zombie soundtrack, and I think that's probably the first time I actually heard Alex Chilton. I had never heard of the Box Tops or listened to the Box Tops before. But yes, he's from Memphis, Tennessee, and he's quite popular in that underground scene, and the Replacements actually did a song about him called Alex Chilton, which is a really great song, and I guess they liked him so much they wanted to get the word out to their fans about how great he was, which is pretty awesome. And this was recorded in Memphis, Tennessee on April 5th, 1985 at Ardent. And what else do I have to say about this? The song Baby was also covered by Tracy Ullman, and that was a pretty great cover too. I like Tracy Ullman, and I do have a Tracy Ullman album, and so I'm gonna keep this album here. Alex Chilton, that's a keeper. Okay, next, this is an album from Sparks, and this is called In Outer Space, and you can see this cover is quite humorous. It has nothing to do with outer space, but it's pretty silly. So I did a little bit of research on this cover, and Sparks have really great covers. So these are the two brothers, Ron and Russell, and apparently the photographer threw the pie, and they had about 7 pies. They had to freeze them because they were cream pies and they were melting under the lights. And this was the winning shot. And so, yeah, I guess they had to throw a few to get the winning shot, but this is a great cover. This has a lot of great songs on it. It has Cool Places on here and Lucky Me, Lucky You, and both of them are duets with Jane Whelan, the bassist of the Go-Go's. And this also has a great song on here called All You Ever Think About Is Sex, and Rockin' Girls is a really great one. I Wish I Looked a Little Better is really great, and Dance Goddamn It is great. So this was produced by Ron and Russell, and they're brothers, and there's the other members of the band in there. And when you open this up, you can see that it has the lyrics, and then we get to the actual title about space. And this here, let's see, I wanted to tell you where this is. It's a pretty cool picture of the Atomium in Brussels. So there they are, and this relates to space in some way or another. This is from 1983, and this is one of my favorite Sparks albums. There's a lot of great songs on this album. I'm going to keep that Sparks album, but I'm not going to keep this one. This is Dan Fogelberg and Tim Weisberg, twin sons of different mothers. And this is from 1978. And I did a little bit of research on this. I listened to it and I liked it, but I'm definitely not going to keep it because I'm not going to listen to it. You know, it's good and I appreciate it for what it is, but I can't see myself putting it on very often. So Dan Fogelberg is a singer and songwriter, and Tim Weisberg is a jazz flutist. And this album is kind of experimental. There's all kinds of different elements of different types of music. It's kind of sounding a little bit yacht rockish at times. Sometimes it sounds like elevator music. Sometimes it's jazz, folk, country, just kind of like all different things going on here. But it's really kind of cool, and I do appreciate it. And I do appreciate the talent in here. And I did like this song called Lazy Susan. And it says here, this album constitutes a collaboration, experimental in nature, between Tim and myself. It is an attempt for both of us to move outside our own recognizable boundaries and try new directions, new forms of music, which we rarely get to explore on our own. It is a chance to stretch, an opportunity to grow, and a hell of a lot of fun. And that was from Dan Fogelberg. And so this was 1978, CBS Records. And they did have a number 24 Hot Billboard 100 hit, and it was a song called The Power of Gold. So someone will appreciate this, and I'm going to get rid of this one. Okay, next, another one that I'm going to part with is this Carpenters album, and this is Close to You, and they're the brother and sister there. And you can see it's kind of in really bad condition. It's spilling out of the bottom. It's got a lot of great songs on it. We've Only Just Begun is on here. Close to You is on here. This is probably, I think I might buy a greatest hits by the Carpenters and maybe a new copy just to have it, because I do like them. But this is just too thrashed, and so I'm going to get rid of this one, and there it goes. Okay, this one is a limited edition Depeche Mode maxi single, and this has Strange Love, The Blind Mix, and Strange Love Pain Mix, and Agent Orange. This is 1987 Mute Records, and this was printed in West Germany. And so you can see that it originally cost $9.95, and I purchased it for $1. And so I'm going to keep this one. Another one that I'm going to keep is this album from Elvis, and this is Blue Hawaii. This is the soundtrack here. And this has a lot of great songs on it. It's an old classic. This movie was extremely popular, and it features Elvis and Angela Lansbury, who plays Elvis's mom. And I read a funny fact that Angela Lansbury was only 10 years older than Elvis, and she played his mom. And it also features Joan Blackman, the movie. And she's Elvis's love interest in the movie, and they get married at a place that became a very popular wedding destination, which was, I wrote some notes here, it was called the Cocoa Palms Resort. And the Cocoa Palms Resort was a really popular wedding destination for a really long time until it fell into disrepair. I don't know if it's still there. If you guys know, let me know. I've never been to Hawaii, but it is on my bucket list. So anyways, let's get on to the music part of this soundtrack. So this topped the Billboard charts for 20 weeks, and it features Can't Help Falling in Love, which is a total old classic. It's got Blue Hawaii on there, Almost Always True, Rockahula Baby, Moonlight Swim, Hawaiian Sunset, Island of Love, the Hawaiian Wedding Song, and just really super cool. And as you know, I'm a really big fan of soundtracks. This one's a little bit thrashed, but I'm gonna keep it. Maybe eventually I'll get rid of it and get a replacement. So let's see, here's something that I'm gonna be getting rid of. And this is kind of difficult for me because it's kind of nostalgic because I really love the Chipmunks, but it's really thrashed. And I've seen others like this out there, so maybe I'll replace it eventually, but honestly, I don't think I've ever listened to it, maybe once. So I'm gonna get rid of this. The Chipmunks Christmas, Christmas with the Chipmunks, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore with David Seville. And it has Here Comes Santa Claus, Up on the Housetop, Silver Bells, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, etc., etc. And there you have it. And you can see it's totally chewed up. Looks like a rat got in there and chewed it up. And you can see that this has an address label on it. It was owned by Mrs. James D. Ellis in Bakersfield, California. And yeah, so very, very cool, very special. 1962 was the copyright on this, and this one's gonna go. So here is something that I'm going to keep, and this is Gary Newman, Warriors. And this is a Beggars Banquet release, 1983. And this one kind of is a little bit reminiscent of dance, but very different. And I actually like this one better. It's got a lot of like metal-y guitars in it. It's a little heavier sounding. It kind of goes back and forth from being more electronic to songs that are a bit more you know, hard rocks-ish sounding. I really love Two-Way Army, which was like the first band that Gary Newman got super popular in, and it was definitely different from his stuff from the early 80s. And this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Two-Way Army stuff, but different. 1983, Beggars Banquet, keeping this one. And another one I'm keeping, Tina Marie, Star Child. Pretty much only bought this one for the song Lover Girl, but I do love that. It's one of my favorite Tina Marie songs. I love R&B music, and this is great dance music. It's got some pretty fun songs on it. Young Blood's a pretty good one, and jamming on here, Star Child's okay. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I just keep an album for a song or two. 1984, keeping this one. And let's see here. I'm gonna go through, I am gonna get rid of this one. This is Crystal Gale, Somebody Loves You. And I'm gonna give this to my friend in the vinyl community, Catherine. She is a Crystal Gale fan. She just did a video where she went to one of her concerts. And so she said that she doesn't have this one, so I'm gonna send this one to her. This next is the Motels All for One. And I am going to keep this one. And I like the Motels. I've seen them before play probably about 10 years ago, and they were pretty great. And this features Martha Davis on vocals. This is one of their most classic albums. And it has Take the L on it. It also has So LA, which is a really great song with some great new wave keyboards. Mission of Mercy, Only the Lonely's on here. And so Capitol Records. This one's not really that hard to find, but I'm gonna keep it. Up next is a soundtrack. This is Funny Lady, and this is Barbra Streisand here on the cover. And the movie features Barbra Streisand and James Caan, Omar Sharif, Roddy McDowell. It has original songs by John Kander and Fred Ebb, additional songs by Billy Rose. And this is a really beautiful cover here. I almost want to keep it just for that. I do like the movie, and I thought the movie was great, but I am not gonna listen to the soundtrack. It's just a little bit too much for me. So this is kind of a maybe, yeah, it's just gonna go. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. Someone else will appreciate it more, although I do really like the cover. Okay, music from the film Married to the Mob, and another soundtrack. If you know me, you know I love soundtracks, and I'm gonna keep this one. And this one has some good songs on it. It's got Bizarre Love Triangle by New Order, and it has the Feelies, Too Far Gone. I really like the Feelies. And it's got Jump in the River. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on today, by Sinead O'Connor. And it has that famous song that was in the Silence of the Lambs movie, Goodbye Horses, by Q Lazarus. It was such a good song. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. And you know, I can't remember if there's Michelle Pfeiffer and Matthew Modine. Gosh, I haven't heard that name in a long time. I'm gonna go back and watch this movie because I think maybe I've just seen bits and pieces of it. I don't even really remember watching it. So I'm gonna go back and watch that movie just for fun. So keeping that one. Another one I'm gonna keep, it's a 12-inch single of the TomTom Club, The Man with the Four-Way Hips. And another popular single was Genius of Love. It was just huge. Everyone sampled it and everything. And I'm kind of, you know, I'm not sick of it, but I just don't listen to it that much because it was so overplayed. But this is great, The Man with the Four-Way Hips. And I love the artwork on this. It's just got a great cover. And yes, Tina Weymouth from the Talking Heads. And this is 1983, Sire Records. And this has also Chris Frantz on it from the Talking Heads. You know, this is a 45, and there you have it. I've had this one for a long time, and I really like that song. So here is a band. This is an IRS record. It's called, the band is called Cosmetics, and this is called The Crack. And it's a 12-inch single. It's a long version. It's got a really cool cover. It's kind of got this Asian look going here. And I really don't know much about this band, so if you know, let me know. It is a 1982 release, and that's pretty much all. I don't remember the last time I listened to it. It's a promo copy. I'm definitely gonna hold on to this. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna listen to it again. And I got it somehow for $1.95 a long time ago, but I'm gonna keep that. Here's one that I'm gonna get rid of, but I wanna replace. So here's in the to-go pile. This is Lou Rawls, and I really dig Lou Rawls. This is All Things in Time, and you know, this is a 1976 release, and it's got the most popular song on here, or one of the most, is You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine, and I absolutely love that song. Groovy People's on here. It's cool. This is kind of like R&B, funky disco music, and I really like that type of music, and I really like him. So this is gonna go, but I'm gonna replace it, and it gives me something to look for when I'm out searching in the wild, as they say. Okay, so here's something that I am going to get rid of, and I don't know how many of you have these, but this is a Reader's Digest collection here. This is Memories Nice and Easy, the Mills Brothers. And I probably should listen to this because I think it's probably good, but I'm not gonna keep it. I haven't listened to it yet. And you just, you know, these you just pull out, and you've got a whole catalog of great stuff inside. And this is in pretty good condition here. But it has the Mills Brothers Greatest Hits, Golden Memories, a salute to the great songs of the 20s, and a Latin mood, and a country and Western mood, and a Hawaiian mood, a salute to the sentimental 40s. You know, my great grandpa used to listen to a lot of this type of music on the radio. He used to sit in his chair with his transistor radio and he'd play all kinds of stuff like this. And it was really fascinating to just kind of sit there with him and listen along. But oh boy, that's dusty and sticky. But I'm getting rid of that, so that one's gonna go. Another one that's going to go here is Johnny Mathis. This is his greatest hits album, and he's pretty cool. I like him, but you know, I don't listen to this. It's got Chances Are, All the Time, The 12th of Never, When Sunny Gets Blue, When I'm With You, Wonderful, Wonderful. It's Not for Me to Say, Come to Me, Wild as the Wind, Warm and Tender, No Love, I Look at You. You know, I think I could probably find this again if I needed to, so this one's going to go. And this is a Columbia release. And so, parting with another one. And then I have one more, and this one's a little bit unusual. I purchased this for 99 cents. The cover is thrashed, but the album plays great. And this is a really cool one. And see, I believe it's called Blitz. It's like completely worn off on the side here. It's an RCA release and it's a comp, and it has really a bunch of great songs. It's from 1980. It's got Bow Wow on it with Chihuahua. It's got Slow Children, which is another really great new wave 80s band. It's got Robert Ellis Oral with White Noise. It's got Sparks with Tips for Teens, and a really cool band called Shock. And it's really unusual new wave music, and they have a really cool video if you want to look it up on YouTube. The song is called Angel Face. And then on side B, it's got a band called Polly Rock, and I have their album, the song on there is called Love Song. And then another song, Chihuahua by Bow Wow Wow. And it has a band called Landscape, and the song is called European Man, and it's a pretty neat 80s song. And then it also has another song by Robert Ellis called Uh-Oh Squad, and a song by Polly Rock called Changing Hearts. And this is definitely, I'm keeping this. I love these unusual comps. When you pull it out, there's a little write-up on all bands inside. And you can see there's the Sparks album and the Polly Rock album. And so there you have it. And that was the last one for today. And you can see I got rid of more than I usually do, right? So hopefully I'll be on a roll, and then I can go shopping and replace some of these and get some new goodies. And I have a few more of these videos left, so if you're into these, stay tuned, and I will see you soon with another video. Until then, you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.